Good morning, everybody. I came across this tweet in my feed this morning, and it's from a fellow PPC candidate, Miss Sybil Hogg. So thank you, Sybil, for putting this together. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go through it. I find it interesting. This isn't a PPC post, or this isn't a PPC video other than a PPC candidate put these links together. I just find this interesting. This, I think, touches on Project Sidewinder, which was an RCMP CSIS joint task force initiative that was completed in 1997. We're going to look at it, and it looked at Chinese infiltration in Canadian multinational businesses, right? Canadian multinational whatever you're doing, oil, natural resources, whatever. Natural resources, doesn't matter. The business gets acquired and then is utilized to not our own means, right, or our own ends. So all of this put together had me really, I enjoyed it. So here we go. We're going to look at it. The Capital Seafood International Incorporated scam, supported by Liberal MP Daryl Sampson of Sackville, Preston, Chesapeake. Sorry, I got that wrong. Capital Seafood International Incorporated is located in Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia, and is a subsidiary of Zoneco. Zoneco is a Chinese company, and its main shareholder is a Chinese government-run investment firm. Zoneco is one of China's largest seafood firms. 2017, Zoneco had 3.2 Canadian billion in sales. 2018, Zoneco had 2.8 billion in Canadian sales, not in Canadian, just Canadian dollars sales. In 2016, Capital Seafood International Incorporated shipped nearly 3 million pounds of live lobster to China from Nova Scotia, most of it through the Eastern Passage plant. November 2016, Capital Seafood International Incorporated's lobster processing facility burned to the ground. August of 2017, an article was printed saying Zoneco will rebuild in September. Quote, construction workers are now clearing the site where the former building went up in flames, readying the property for the start of the construction, likely by the beginning of September. A 7,300 square foot holding facility capable of handling 200,000 pounds of lobster. September 2018, the Canadian government, through Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, ACOA, gave Capital Seafood International $400,000 in funding. The funding will help the Eastern Passage-based company build a state-of-the-art lobster holding facility to enable year-round operations. An article published in December 2016 with the title, Why Canadian Lobster Has Become Unaffordable for Most Canadians stated, we were recently in China. The amount of lobsters those guys go through drives the price. Sorry, it doesn't say up. I added that. I apologize. She says, and while some parts of the world prize the quality of Canadian lobster, China likes it mainly because it's cheap and abundant. He said, why did the Canadian government fund, using Canadian taxpayer dollars, a Chinese government-owned lobster business that ships our lobster to China and makes the product unaffordable for Canadians? And then it says vote Sybil at the end. So I wanted to go through this because that sounds like Project Sidewinder in action, right? Here's CBC News reporting, quote, this is back in 2016 for the original fire, and I'm just trying to get to the most important parts, okay? You can read it for yourself. The link is in the description. Chinese owners vow to rebuild Eastern Passage lobster plant. We will carry on. We will be better and stronger, I'm sure, says the owner of the business, destroyed by fire. The Chinese owners of the Capital Seafood plant in Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia, says they will repair and rebuild the lobster processing facility damaged in a spectacular fire Wednesday night. Quote, we will carry on. We will be better and stronger, I'm sure, the company manager, Jack Lee, said Thursday. I scroll down. Capital Seafoods is a subsidiary of Zoneco, Chinese seafood company. In October 2014, the company formally announced it would take over the plant in Eastern Passage and turn it into a year-round operation. Capital was the first Chinese company to jump into the lobster business. Others have followed. So far in 2016, Capital has shipped nearly 3 million pounds of live lobster to China from Nova Scotia, most of it through the Eastern Passage plant. That's a lot of lobster. Here is Zoneco, and this is them talking about rebuilding the plant. Zoneco rebuilding Canadian lobster plant damaged by fire. That's in August 2018. And basically it says last year was terrible. It said Zhu Chang. Sorry if I got that wrong. Vice President of Capital Seafood, the total loss of last November's fire is estimated at more than $1 million, including the building, equipment, and inventory. Construction workers are now clearing the site where the former building went up in flames, readying the property for the start of construction, likely by the beginning of September, of a 7,300 square foot holding facility capable of handling 200,000 pounds of lobster. There it is. And here's the Zoneco reports huge losses that suggest loss of scallop harvest. So 2018 was a bad year for Zoneco. They had the fire at the end of 2017. They had to spend the money to fix it. And then the loss of their scallop harvest, right? But don't worry, no problem. Here comes Canada to give you some money. And this is on September 7th. Canadian government is reporting, quote, Capital Seafood expansion will result in increased export of live lobster. Daryl Sampson, Member of Parliament for Sackville, Preston, Chesapeake, on behalf of the Honourable Navdeep Bains, Minister of Innovation, Science and Economic Development, and Minister responsible for the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, ACOA, today announced the government funding of $400,000 to help Capital Seafood International Incorporated expand from a seasonal operation into a year-round exporter of live lobster. The funding will help the Eastern Passage-based company build a state-of-the-art lobster holding facility to enable year-round operations. New state-of-the-art technology will reduce mortality and optimize quality outside the normal fishing season. As a result of this expansion, 12 seasonal jobs are expected to become full-time positions. So the trade here in the Canadian bureaucrats or the people who are making these decisions' minds is 12 jobs equals $400,000, and those are full-time jobs, and we're investing in our people, blah, 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 blah. But really, it's a direct investment in a Chinese company, right? A Chinese-owned company that is having a bad year, right? And is that what we want done with our taxpayer dollars? Here's a UCN. Oh, I can't remember the acronym now. It's Undercurrent News. So this is looking at seafood, et cetera, because it's an important topic in this day and age. And Zoneco Group is minus 13%, right? Wow. And this is the 2016 article. And so all of what we've been talking about up till now has happened after this. But I don't know that the exports of Canadian lobster have gone down or that the prices have gone down. But here's an anecdotal story about the prices of lobster, because I'm in Ontario and have no idea. And then we'll look at the next bit. Servers told querying patrons that the quality of lobster was not up to par. The harder truth was that the crustacean had gotten too rich for our blood. In the past 5 years, co-owner David Lee watched per pound cost rise from $9 to $12. Even if Nota Bene charged $29 for the appetizer, the dish would be unprofitable. The price is just crazy, Lee said, and there's only so much the guests will pay for lobster. When it reaches $16 a pound in September, he took the salad off the menu. Right? Yeah, that's a lot of money, especially in Nova Scotia, where they're fishing their lobster. While Canadians grouse about the back-in-the-day prices, Clark says the rising middle class around the world is willing and able to pay for things that we can't or won't. I think this is an interesting statement. Complaining about the prices of commodities and resources that we're fishing out of our waters rising because Chinese demand is high, that's not grousing. That's pointing out a legitimate concern of management of our waterways, fisheries, and exports. That is not grousing. Very, very different, in my opinion. And saying that if you don't pay for it, somebody will. What? Come on. And back to the article, it says, quote, "We were recently in China. The amount of lobsters those guys go through drives the price," she says. And while some parts of the world prize the quality of Canadian lobster, China likes it mainly because it's cheap and abundant. Here's Operation Sidewinder. So Sidewinder's secret, 1997 in June, and there's our CMP, CSIS, Joint Review Committee. And I just want to show you this. It says, by using these alliances, the Chinese government is trying to gain influence on Canadian politics by maximizing their pressure over some of the country's economic levers. To that end, they proceed initially to buy and or legally set up a company in Canada that, once under their control, buys other companies and so on. An effective domino effect ensues that acts like a well-spun web or network at strategic points. It's estimated that over 200 Canadian companies have passed into Chinese influence or ownership since the early 1980s through the triads, tycoons, or China national companies. These businesses are found in various sections of the economy, ranging from multinationals to banking, high technology, and real estate. And it looks like fisheries? Here's Bloomberg reporting company ownership of Capital Seafood International Incorporated. It says Capital Seafood International Inc. manufactures seafood. Capital Seafood International Inc. was formerly known as H Fisheries Limited as a result of the acquisition of H Fisheries Limited by ZF. That's oh my goodness, Zoneco. Or ZF Max International Incorporated, H Fisheries Limited's name was changed. The company is based in Eastern Passage, Canada. As of October 17, 2014, Capital Seafoods International operates as a subsidy of ZF Max International. And so, yes, that is Zoneco. I thought maybe Zoneco could have purchased this off of ZF Max if that wasn't the same as Zoneco, but that confirms that ZF Max is in fact Zoneco. So that's interesting, right? And here's H Fisheries. They were established in 1995 and they had 30 employees. So the Chinese company came in and purchased H Fisheries and then started exporting the live lobster that they now own for these 30 jobs to China, right? And here's HNHseafood.com. It's for sale, right? Doesn't exist anymore. That was their That was their homepage from here. I found it somewhere here. Or I just looked for it. Oh yeah, HA Seafood right there. Ha, I knew it was here. So, interesting, right? Interesting. Is this what's happening? Is this the well-spun web of Chinese influence at strategic points? Is that what's happening? Or is this just happenstance and we're just paying through the nose for lobster because, otherwise, other middle-class people in other parts of the world will buy your lobster if you don't pay for it. If you don't bow down and say thank you for the $29 a pound lobster. Other people, they'll buy it. Right. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca. We've got two investigators in our midst. So that's me and Miss Hogg here. So thank you, and thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day.